Some stories arrive like thunder, others like a feather on the windowsill, unnoticed until it moves. This one began quietly. There was once a woman whose laughter tasted like honey and whose silences smelled like rain before it falls. She was loved by many, but chosen by none, not truly. Men admired the curve of her spine, the depth of her thinking, the way her eyes could warm a room or freeze it. Yet she walked alone, not because she was unwanted, but because she required a particular kind of devotion, the kind that most never learn to give. But one season, the wind shifted. She journeyed across ocean and time, following a pull older than memory. And in that strange land, she met a man who stirred something primal in her, a hunger long sleeping. He was beautiful in the way wild animals are beautiful, untamed, unaware of the danger in his own nearness. His smile opened a heat in her belly, and when he looked at her, she felt seen, or perhaps she only hoped she was. Desire is a clever narrator. It speaks in prophecy and perfume. She kissed him with curiosity. He held her with wonder, and two bodies learned each other like new languages spoken in the dark. But ecstasy is not intimacy, and touch is not tenderness. There were nights when she lay against his heartbeat and felt safe, safe enough to open. She spoke her memories like pearls from a broken necklace, not noticing how many hit the floor unrecognized. She told him of trauma, of absence, of learning to raise herself. He listened with quiet eyes, but not with open doors. Some truths he swallowed, others he avoided. He loved her presence, but not yet her essence. She, a woman of spirit and wound and wisdom, overlooked the silence. A goddess can excuse many things when she wants to believe. She fed him with words and food and softness. He offered her laughter, his body, sometimes his service, rarely his soul. She poured and poured until her river grew shallow. The first shift was small, a tone, a forgotten kiss, hands that held her like routine instead of reverence. He reached for her body but not her mind. He wanted her warmth without holding the flame itself. She asked for conversation. He answered with retreat. She reached for connection. He reached for space. Still, she stayed, not out of weakness, but hope. Hope is a powerful spell. So she gave more. She showed him how to touch her slowly, how to kiss her deeply, how to speak her name with earth behind it. She opened her thighs like prayer, her heart like offering. She taught him what intimacy could be, and he received like a student distracted by his own thoughts. One night she realized she was teaching alone, and loneliness beside a warm body is colder than winter. The lesson arrived not through shouting, but through silence, her own silence. She stopped chasing connection and waited to see if he would cross the distance. He did not at first. Instead, he searched for distraction, friends, errands, noise. She observed with a calm that frightened even her. No begging, no tears, only clarity. Her ancestors gathered like drumbeats behind her ribs. "Daughter," they whispered, "you are forgetting your crown." She remembered suddenly who she was, not a woman waiting, a woman choosing. So she stepped back inside her power like a dress that had always fit. She woke early one morning and moved through the house like moonlight. She packed her bags, not from rage, but from remembering. Each folded garment said, "I am worthy of passion. I am worthy of depth. I am worthy of love that meets me where I stand, sovereign." She watched confusion ripple across his face like a boy uncertain where the world shifted. He tried to hold her still, arms tight, lap firm, insisting closeness without communication. She felt the restraint like walls forming around her body, not bruising, but binding. He said, "Stay on my lap." She thought, "I am not furniture." He said, "This is love. She thought, love requires freedom. He said, I am talking. She thought, then speak from your heart, not habit. She did not scream. She did not break. She simply decided. She left his arms the way a snake leaves old skin, slow, unstoppable. That night, the moon looked down and recognized her, full, dangerous, glorious. A storm of desire rose inside her, not just for sex, but for worship. She craved a man who would kiss her like revelation, who would study her like scripture, who would taste her mind before her body. She wanted to melt, to blossom, to be met in rhythm, not duty. Her body remembered pleasure, but longed for passion. Her soul remembered belonging, but longed for being cherished. She realized this relationship was an initiation, not a destination, a sacred agitation that burns away fantasy. She lay awake, sweat rolling down her neck, heart pounding with hunger that was not merely sexual, though it throbbed in her hips like drumbeat, but ancestral. A hunger for emotional touch, for communication, for being seen as woman and wonder both. Her womb whispered, choose pleasure, choose power, choose your path. She understood then, she may stay or she may go, but she would never shrink again. If she remained with him, it would be as a woman leading with wisdom, not sacrifice. No more silent suffering, no more bending around absence. If he wished to keep her light, he must learn to hold it, without possession, without fear. She would teach him, yes, but no longer from depletion. The teacher must stay full. For a goddess without boundaries becomes a wound. A woman with them becomes a storm. And so she rose from the bed, moonlight glistening like salt on her skin, and walked to her altar, not outside, but inside herself. She touched her copper bracelet, felt the hum of lineage. She pressed her hand to her heart and spoke quietly, I choose me. On that affirmation, something electric shifted. Her dreams opened like doors, airports, music, harmonic frequencies. Her shadow self danced in desire. Her higher self glowed like dawn. She was two women merging, the primal and the priestess, becoming whole. She laughed softly. She cried without tears. She breathed like she was being reborn. By morning, her bags remained packed, but differently, with clarity instead of escape. She did not need to run, only to remember that she could. Power is not departure. Power is choice. He returned with gifts, with food, with tentative offerings. She accepted without losing herself. She watched. She allowed him space to rise. She no longer chased crumbs, for she had baked her own bread. And when she walked past mirrors, she saw it, the glow of a woman becoming legend. This was not an ending. This was the doorway. For soon, the moon herself would step into a story, not to be chosen, but to choose. Soon, a marriage would teach a universe of women how desire transforms, how love awakens, how leaving becomes light. But tonight, the woman who remembered her fire rested in her own radiance, and the world felt the shift.